We welcome you in to yet another edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead Show, and we are delighted to have you with us on this Tuesday afternoon here in the Valley of Happiness. We are Quaker Steak and Lube in State College, which is a wonderful place to be anytime, but especially this time of the year. This is a we're heading into the real fun here with the conference basketball tournaments this week, the NCAA tournament next week. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty for the NBA and the NHL. Of course, college wrestling will have its NCAA championships starting a week from Thursday. And so all fun stuff, good stuff.
We figured it out. We're going to get out there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have heard very good things about the area now and the way it has built up around Little Caesars Arena. So I am looking forward to seeing how different it is this time around, because the last time the NCAAs were in Detroit, it was by far my least favorite venue. And I think I've been to everyone since, I'm trying to think now, 89. And I was at the 87 NCAAs. So, yeah, I'm hoping for a much better experience this time around. And I think it will be based on everyone I've talked to that has been out in that area.
I went to Pittsburgh, Cleveland, then Pittsburgh, right?
Yep.
Then we were by, and then last year was empty. Right?
Yeah, we'll have Philadelphia and Cleveland coming up back-to-back here in the
after a Midwest jaunt, pretty good. We go down to St. Louis,
Tulsa,
Oklahoma, right?
Tulsa and Omaha. Yep.
Close enough.
St. Louis got left out in this rotation, which I think is interesting. I'm not sure any specific reason behind that, or just the way
I did do some recon for you when you said it was the worst place you went, because I compared it to Philadelphia when you were there last time, because Xfinity Live wasn't there, and that's the big bar set up in Philadelphia. And there's nothing around the Philadelphia arenas. There's
the transportation. The issue when we went to Detroit last time, it just took forever, at least in my endless and memories can play tricks with you. It felt like it was an hour. I'm sure it wasn't actually an hour, but to get to our hotel from the arena and back. And
they had shuttles, though.
With the they had a media shuttle, a media-specific shuttle that ran, whatever it was. Yeah. But if you missed it, it was a long wait. And the issue, we don't have a lot of time. We getting ready for each session, between sessions. It was just not. It was a horrible setup. With Philly, it was, for me at least, and listen, I had a little familiarity with Philly, and we were, it was not, everything was fairly close by that I needed access to. So
my question, I didn't think you would leave.
Well, I generally don't anymore.
Okay.
At least on Tuesday or on Thursday and Friday. Almost never now do I leave the arena on Thursday. Yeah. I will say, Lincoln, Nebraska, that Pinnacle Bank Arena is a phenomenal arena. And the setup they had there, with the exception of the only issue, nobody's fault, at some point on Saturday, and it must have been either later in the first session or very early in the second session, the restroom, which was conveniently located right behind my broadcast location, it got closed off for some sort of I don't know what the issue was, some sort of plumbing issue, but the entire bathroom was shut off. And the next nearest one was, it was a good 2-minute walk. Well, I don't have even running back and forth. I'm like with the break time. So Saturday night was a little rough. And then they had it blocked off when we initially got into the arena on Sunday, too. And I'm like, oh, man, this is going to be brutal. But they got it running and everything was good within I don't know, a couple of bouts in that.
So you're not Jonathan Davis
first session on Sunday. I was not looking forward to that, but the arena is neat, and I will say Nebraska did, at least from my perspective in the media, did a phenomenal job of running that tournament this year.
It obviously it had a Nebraska feel to it, but it didn't seem like much Penn State. Like
there was a good Penn State contingent there, but it was definitely a Nebraska-Iowa crowd. I mean, Iowa's like a 4-hour drive.
Because it wasn't very vocal. You couldn't really hear it.
Yeah, they had
not an easy place for us to get either.
No, I mean, it was a good contingent, but yeah, I mean, it was Nebraska-Iowa for sure, overwhelming in terms of the fan presence there.
You should have gotten up when the guy from Iowa hurt his shoulder. You should have gotten up like one of their fans and started crying like they were doing about our football team. Faking injuries out there, man. Jeez.
How about it?
Luis.
Yeah. And listen, for the obviously the objective is to win everything that you compete in. I will say, from Penn State's perspective, it was just odd because we're used to seeing, under Cal Sanderson anyway, Penn State win the matches in the way that they lost some of those critical ones with, the late reversal by Cassiope and then getting the takedown in sudden victory.
Three of those type of
the sudden victory losses were tough for sure. And again, those are matches that can always go either way. And I think to a large extent, those of us that follow the Penn State program, you just almost take for granted now that, it's sudden victory in the postseason. Here comes another win, and it's just not that easy. And listen, I had a few folks asking me about Aaron Brooks. Listen. That dude is an Olympic bronze medalist. Yes. Like, that is not an easy thing to get. Okay, so the guy is really, really good. Listen, I think Aaron Brooks is going to beat him next time.
Yep.
But no guarantees. And I no great shame in losing to a guy like Miles Amin. I do think there are some things that the Brooks will adjust next time that they meet. And I've said this many times over the years. One of the more impressive things to me about like Jason Nolf and Bo Nickel and David Taylor, all of those guys, Ed Ruth, in a sport like wrestling in particular, but I think at any sport, when you have comparable talents, and listen, there were, for as good as David Taylor and Jason Nolf and Ed Ruth and Bo Nickel, all those guys are and were, there were guys that were comparable talents in terms of the athletic, Miles Martin for Bo Nickel, obviously Isaiah Martinez, the 1 year did get Jason Nolf, but Hayden Hidley had a chance. The one thing when you have comparable talent is, I think it is very difficult to win rematch after rematch after rematch, because in part, again, if you've won, what you did worked, right? Like, it's not easy to then make some adjustments next time around. And listen, you'll make some adjustments. Obviously these guys are at the top of their game, and they know if they don't bring anything new to the table that, but it's a lot easier for the guy who loses, right? Hey, I know I got to make some adjustments. I need, I felt this, and I know if I work on that, I can get that next time. So, Miles Amin, I think, had a month here to really kind of dial in on what he thought. And listen, it's not that I think Miles Amin and Aaron Brooks are taking anything else for granted, but they know that they're right now at the top of that weight class. And so Miles Amin, again, I think had a very specific game plan and had in mind what he wanted and felt he needed to do to beat Aaron Brooks this time around, and it paid off. And again, I'm not saying that because Aaron Brooks lost this, there's a guarantee now that he wins next time around. But I do think now Aaron is the one that goes back and says, okay, this is the changes I want to make in strategy. And again, we'll see. I do think it's going to be presuming we see it again in the NCAA finals. I do think it is going to be one of the many highly anticipated bouts. I thought there were a lot of highly anticipated bouts this past weekend, some of which we saw, too many of which we didn't see. And I'm not sure, there was a lot of talk in the media, and I'm sure out there in the I really just have not checked message boards. Just my schedule has been crazy this week, so not out of any, I don't want to check I just haven't had time to check anything. But I know in the media there was a lot of talk about they need to change the rules. I don't know, what rules would you change? I'm all for, listen, you want to see the matchups. Fans are paying good money to get to the conference tournament. You want to see the matchups that you're paying to see and that are scheduled to be there. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you can do, because I don't think you want to get to a situation where if you're saying if you don't wrestle every match, and even if you do, right, are you going to say that you have to wrestle every match to its end in order to qualify for the national tournament? And if you do, again, what's to stop somebody from doing an injury default versus medical forfeit, where after 1 second you say, listen, my ankle's too bad. I'm all for taking a look at it. I'm all for listening to ideas. I don't see anything there that's readily available as a remedy to prevent that. And listen, I think guys like Michael Kemmer, it makes a lot of sense. You see a guy that clearly is hurting. I don't know how much better they're going to get in the 2 weeks, but I understand, and I'm in favor of, get them as rested as you can.
Wasn't this an issue with DeSanto when he was here?
And I suspect
what the hell? The Michigan kid, the punk.
Soriano.
He got hurt, right?
Yeah, and ended up not being able to compete. And, there were fans that were understandably
he almost
upset.
Been back,
well, but the fact that he didn't compete had people upset because he took a spot from, somebody that could have competed. And again, that's always a tough call. You're not wanting to do that. I mean, Penn State went out there thinking that he was going to be able to compete, and he just wasn't able to defend himself. And, of course, that started the whole process that led to Soriano eventually going to Rutgers and now to Michigan. So, it's not good. I do strongly suspect there were some of those bouts that could have been contested. I do think many of them, there were legit injuries, and maybe with all of them, I don't know. There were some that I suspect, but listen, that I'm not inside the medical room of these teams,
either injured or not.
Yeah, but listen, if the requirement, I don't know, short of, and even if you're going to say, okay, you have to wrestle the entire bout, again, if you are a guy who is legitimately injured, right? Are you not going to go out and okay, you're not going to let me injury default. You're going to say I have to wrestle the whole way through. If I go out and lay on my back, then it gets recorded as a 5-second pin. Now it counts as a loss, whereas the medical forfeits do not. But even there, again, if you're legitimately injured, you're not going to compete against these top-level kids if you have a chance to get yourself in a better position over the next 2 weeks. And I don't see any way around that. Again, even if you're saying, all right, you absolutely have to wrestle every match to its conclusion. Again, if you go out and lay down. What's that?
Are they talking about Stevenson? Not him not wrestling? Is that what they're talking
about? No, there were a lot of forfeits this weekend at the Big Ten tournament. 2 in the finals, and then you got Sebastian Rivera. And again, the word is that he had knee surgery a couple of weeks ago, so pretty legit reason. Yeah, there were somebody actually took the time to do the research. I think it was like 8 the percentage of forfeits at the Big Ten in particular, but across the board in conference tournaments over the last 5 years has gone up pretty dramatically, pretty substantially.
Like
and this year, was a whole lot. No, that's exactly, and people are making that comparison. And again, I'm with you. It's a problem, and you don't like to see it. I just don't. I'm not seeing what the easy or good remedy is to the situation. And again, if somebody has one, I mean, I'm not. I'm all ears. But
the higher seed, the 3-4 matchup, bumps up to wrestle the heavyweight
in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
no, they're not gonna. Yeah,
yeah,
they're gonna say no thanks.
I'm gonna sit there and say, okay, as a nothing more than a layperson when it comes to wrestling. So I love the coaching aspect of what happened this past weekend. Kale has that one little nugget over his guys for 2 weeks. I think every one of them's got to hear it. One match, one more point from any one of you guys. One more point from each of you. We run away with it. And he's going to hammer that home. I mean, I know who would have hammered that home with us, and that would be the old man. Yeah. I mean, it's a great coaching point, and to say that they were that close but just you can't pinpoint one thing, but there's about 15 things you can pinpoint, and he's going to hammer that home. And I love that fact going into the Nationals. It's like Ohio State in Cleveland 3-4 years ago when they won the Big Ten. You know what I mean? And they came out on fire. Was that the year that they came out on fire?
Yeah, I will say that there was some. Had a couple of conversations and text conversations on the. I think people are misunderstanding a little bit what Penn State's perspective on the conference tournament versus the NCAA tournament is. Believe me when I tell you that Penn State is not. It's not a situation where Penn State is not taking the Big Ten tournament seriously or that they don't care about it. And I've had a couple people, this is no big deal. They don't care. It's just that's not true. But I would make I think it is a very comparable situation to the conference tournaments in basketball, right? And do you know any team or any head coach anywhere in the country who would not take second or third at their conference tournament in exchange for a national championship, right? And it's happened many, many times. I mean, I should have sat down and looked at that, but there have been a whole bunch of national championship basketball teams that didn't win their conference tournament, right? Like that's not an uncommon thing.
In the Big Ten and the SEC and the ACC tournament is not a great thing because you play 3 or 4 more games a week before the tournament starts. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So, but it's not as though like a Duke doesn't go in saying, all right, let's lose in the quarterfinals so that we can get ready for the, like, that's not what happens. It's just that, but yes, if you do lose in the quarterfinals or the semifinals or the championship game, so Mike Krzyzewski or any coach is going to say, all right, now we know what we need to do. Let's gear it up. And the ultimate objective, right? Like nobody looks back on a championship season in basketball and says, man, if it was a good year, but man, if we had won that conference tournament, then it would have been really special. No, winning the national title is the ultimate goal. Again, it's not that Penn State isn't wanting to win the Big Ten tournament or isn't taking it seriously, but they do understand the ultimate objective and where you are. What people will forever remember is what happens in the NCAA championships, and that's for any sport. Yeah, really, right? I mean, if you. Georgia this year. Do you think any Georgia football fan is sitting there saying, yeah, it was a pretty good year, but man, we didn't win the SEC title.
Damn it.
It really hurts. Right? Like there's not a Georgia football and there's not an Alabama football fan that's out there saying, we lost the national title game, but man, we beat them in the right. I mean, like that is the objective, is to win the national title. Now, again, do you want to win everything? Yes,
Sure.
That's what a competitor wants to do. And so, yes, Penn State is disappointed. Penn State wanted to win all the dual meets, win the Big Ten title, and win the national tournament. But having fallen short now, right? Like now you just refocus, and if you win the national title, all is forgiven.
Idiot question.
That's just the way it is.
Did Kirklevitt?
Kirkleet, yep.
Did he know he had a pin to win? Would he have known that? I don't.
Yeah, I think he would have known. I don't know. I guess I don't know for sure whether or not he knew that. I
don't know. He probably wasn't going to get it.
Yeah, you've got to focus on winning, and then if the pin comes. But in that situation, I really don't think you're out there looking for the pin against a guy that caliber. Now, I'm guessing in the back of his mind, he's like, man, if that opportunity comes, I'm certainly aware of it. But I think where you know, it's almost like a batter trying to get a home run. I think it's a bigger risk of striking out. And in Kirkleet's case, I think if you're going for the pin from the get-go, right, there's a better chance that you're just going to lose against a guy the caliber of Paris. So, you know, again, it's one of those things you got to be smart about it. And yes, if the opportunity presents itself, and again, I'm not saying you're not working toward it, but it's not like a situation where in a dual meet, you may, you know, if your team is down by 4 or 5, you might just go out looking for a headlock and let's go for broke. And if I don't get it, you know, so be it. A little different when you're talking about tournament wrestling and seeds are affected and all of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him. I don't 100% know. I am guessing that he was aware of the situation.
Of updating the scores. So when would you know? I mean, and then at the Nationals, it's like instant. You know, the scores go up.
Yeah,
he would know coming out of there that okay, we're 1.5 points back. If I win, we're 2.5 points. If I pin,
and it might be a little different situation too in the national tournament. Again, if it's a third place match like that, now I think in a title bout, again, you're trying to take care of business and get the title. Again, aware that if you need the points, you're going to look for them if they're there. But a third place bout, if it's the national tournament, you might be a little more likely to, hey, if I can get I'm going to look for a headlock. I'm like, that is going to be my mission here, is to try to get the pin, because that's the difference.
This is not a slap, but so it would be the individual over the team then, right? Is what you're saying?
At the Big Ten tournament, I think yes. At the national tournament, that mentality may change a little bit.
This goes back to what you and Booch were talking about last week, and that is, so the 1 through 4 is probably going to stay the same. That was in the Big Tens in nationals.
Well, Colton Schultz will be in there for Arizona State too, and that's the problem. So now,
Kirklevitt in second or third, right?
Kirklevitt's going to be in. He'll be probably the 4 seed, and so he's going to match up in the semifinals.
I thought if he had won that match, he would have got 2 or 3.
No.
So Cassiope does not get punished for not wrestling.
Correct. That would be, well, I don't know if you want to look at it that way. I think he gets rewarded for beating Kirkleet. So my expectation is it'll be Stevenson will be the 1 seed.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah. I think there's an outside chance that they're going to look at the overall resume, and even though Schultz is undefeated too, listen, I think they're going to end up giving Stevenson that 1 seed. Just give it to him. But I think he'll be 1, Schultz 2, and then Cassiope 3, Kirkleet 4, and Paris 5.
Okay.
But Kirkleet and Paris. So the thing is, they're going to meet in all likelihood, if I'm right about this, in the quarterfinals either way.
All right. So, is Stevenson, is he the best heavyweight / wrestler you've seen?
It is hard. I mean, he's obviously really, really good. Kyle Snyder, not that long ago here, kids, was an absolutely phenom, and also had won Olympic gold already, and the whole bit. They're a little different styles. I mean, Stevenson is definitely, just an athletic marvel.
Have they ever wrestled?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
That'd be pretty damn cool.
Yeah. Kerry McCoy, when his senior year was pretty darn special. There have been some really good heavyweights over the years. Brock Lesnar at Minnesota Minnesota has gone through a run of phenomenal heavyweights over the years. Stevenson does some things in a little different manner than I think we're used to seeing at that heavyweight spot.
He is so.
He's just, but he's not just. Yeah, it's the combination of just sheer power, speed, and then just that natural fluidity.
How tall is he?
He's definitely up there. He's not that tall.
So he's not playing left guard for the Patriots in the next few years.
I don't.
More money in the WWE.
That's probably true right now. I wouldn't put anything past that guy, though. I mean, again, he is just a remarkably athletically gifted individual.
What was Schneider?
Oh, he was like 225.
Yeah. So I don't. Me personally, I don't see them in the same.
Yeah.
I know they're in the same weight class, I guess, in college, but I don't really see them as. Like you said, Schneider, I forgot he was a heavyweight, but because I don't see him as a heavyweight.
Yeah. There's been a lot of pretty good guys over the years. So we'll see how it plays out.
Give it to me. Your top 5 all time.
Heavyweights?
Nah. Wrestlers.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, it's hard. So this is it's just like football with guys I haven't seen. I mean, Dan Hodge, from what everybody has told me, I never had a chance to see him. I've seen some of the, I mean, Dan Hodge and Bill Cole would have to be up there. But it's hard for me I have a great appreciation for them, but it's different when you see somebody up close and you have that familiarity. So, those two would probably be on the short list of all-time greats. Obviously, Gable would be on that list. Cale Sanderson would be on that list, and John Smith would probably be. There are some other ones. Utaki was a phenom for Oklahoma State. Again, you have guys that were undefeated for 3 years and never had the chance to compete that 4th year. But some of those guys, Bill Cole, you weren't allowed freshmen weren't eligible up until about the mid 70s. Yeah. So for a long time there wasn't that opportunity. So
when did that end?
It was 70s. Would have been around 70.
Cable won 4 years ago, right? When he lost his last match.
No, he was he was a 2-time champ and then runner up his senior year. That's hard to do that with different eras.
That's a hell of a drinking story. As well. You got, the last 15, 20 years, you got some guys that can be plugged in there, but, it's a whole different era thing.
Was it as shocking to you as it was me to see Mike Krzyzewski lose last game? Like, you're just not supposed to do that, kids.
Can I give you my honest opinion of that game?
You need to win that, yeah.
I was talking with a lot of my friends and former teammates, and we were all saying, this is exactly how Joe should have gone out.
Oh, I said that to Boots last week.
Multiple people called me and said this is exactly how
losing to North Carolina
getting blown out by Pitt
at Cameron Indoor Arena. That'd be a weird way for Joe to go out. I got to be honest with you.
No, but it was watching that whole thing and the players out and what they did for him and stuff like that, and how everything went down. They get beat. They don't shake. Duke looks really petty right now, in my opinion. With their little petulant coaches not shaking hands because they were mad at North Carolina because they didn't honor Krzyzewski. I mean, do you think Pitt was going to honor Joe Paterno?
Well, actually, I want to get into that for a second because I actually think they did honor him, right? Joe Paterno talked all the time, right, about I don't boo the opponents, and but because you want to test. And listen, I guarantee you, Aaron Brooks isn't. He's not upset because that's what you want to have, those guys that test you and give you extra motivation. If you go out and win every match by technical foul, or you win every game in basketball or football by 10 points or more, right? Like after a while, that's not a whole lot of fun. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah,
I get it, but it's not. But like what the real fun is, man, I don't know if I can beat this guy. Like I'm pretty sure I can, but I want to find out, can I really do it? And that's why, beating Gable Steveson means something, man. Beating Aaron Brooks meant something to Miles Amin, right? Like that is special stuff.
Ask me about the 94 team.
North Carolina,
we won by 100. You win the tough game.
If North Carolina had gone out there and you could see that they're giving it, like, that's not how you. It's just like when what's his name gave the sack record. That's not how you want to do it, right? Like most people anyway. Like you want to be, I beat you and I got the sack. Now I'm the sack. Like that's what you want. So to me, North Carolina did honor Mike Krzyzewski by going out and giving their absolute best effort against him and showing the respect to him and his program. Like, to me, that is showing respect. Man, we know we got to play our best to try to beat you. And what team in their right mind is going to go out there? That's like being upset at a baseball team for breaking up a no-hitter in the ninth inning. Hey, what are you doing? You don't respect Olin Ryan?
No,
he had a no-hitter. Like,
they were mad that Carolina didn't show love to him when they played at Carolina.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what? I don't – I mean, and again, a lot of people outside of Duke are saying that wasn't Coach K. He didn't want this, like, goodbye, like, tour.
Also, that you are rivals, right?
Him.
Like, that's part of the deal.
If that played to them winning by 20, then it was a great job and smart move by North Carolina.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
But did you see some of the prices of those tickets?
Oh yeah.
Average ticket cost was $3,500 for that game. I'm sorry,
they'll remember it.
That is a big television in my brand new couch in my living room, watching that game on a 90-inch television on a leather sofa.
Yeah,
that's insane to think of, like $3,500 for a game.
Well,
a ticket.
I am going to be interested to see how Duke fares in the NCAA tournament now. There did seem to be a lot of. I don't know if those kids just got the Duke kids I'm talking about, overly worked up ahead of the game, but that was not exactly a great. It didn't look like a great effort.
Remind me of when we played Ohio at Bill O'Brien's first game, and we came out of the buses at 9:30 in the morning, and our guys were jumping around, jacked up, all jacked back on the field, and by the fourth quarter, they were absolutely frightened. Yeah. But that's what Duke looked like. They looked like they had no legs by the end of the game, and Carolina was just hitting everything.
Yeah. Not how that's supposed to go when you're writing up the storybook ending. But Duke goes on and wins the national title. They're going to forget about that.
Precisely. What you were just saying about, about Georgia and Alabama. It's the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Now they can go out and win. They got to do ACC tournament, and it will be interesting to see how they do. I think that Krzyzewski rallies the troops, and it's a little wake-up call like the old man would give to us. Yeah. It is a beautiful wake-up call, and he can hammer these guys for the next 10 days before the big tournament starts and, get them running scared a little bit. You always play better when you're running scared, in my opinion, especially his teams.
Penn State basketball, Goon, what are you thinking here? Another in the long list of close but not quite to end the regular season there. Matchup with a Minnesota team that they know obviously they can beat and beat handily, but I don't know. I'm really interested to see how this team responds and what kind of a run they can. I really liked how
Mike Shrewsbury came out after that Nebraska game and just blasted them.
Yeah,
about quitting and stuff like that. And Nebraska has proved that they actually have been playing well the last 2 weeks.
They have,
i.e., they beat Wisconsin yesterday.
Yeah,
but I like how they responded to Shrewsbury's comments about how they quit versus Nebraska, and they played 2 hell of good games last week. And one was they were down 15, 17 points against Rutgers and come back. And as many personal tell you from the old school Penn State basketball days, playing it at Rutgers at the rack is not an easy thing.
No.
And it was their senior day, so the place was going crazy. Did you watch the game?
I did not.
Jeez, I'm listening. I'm watching it, and I don't know who the color commentator was, but it's like I don't think he gets many jobs because he was making that sound like it was UCLA USC 1979 and Bill Walton and Al Cinder were going at it. And I mean, he's like, you never want to be anywhere else in the whole country right now. You're like, it's Penn State Rutgers, relax now. And you know, he's talking like Rutgers should retire these 3 guys' jerseys, and you're just like, what are you talking about? Just and it's just I was talking to some basketball players about it. We were laughing. The guy was a little too into a Sunday afternoon Rutgers Penn State game. But I do like how they came back, and they had a shot. They literally had a shot to win it, and you know those things are they're gonna start coming. I love the way they responded to Shrewsbury the whole season. I mean, this was one of those like, okay, we just pack it in for the year. We don't need to be here. No one's going to be mad at or upset with us if we don't play hard all year. But they did play hard, and I like the future. I really do. I think Mike is going to do a heck of a job coaching and recruiting. So, I mean, the future's. I somehow think in my head, like basketball is very, very bright. That's how I think right now. I mean, improvement from this year. I mean, I would have liked to have not been playing on the first day of the Big Ten basketball the tournament, but it is what it is. Next year you get it in the second day or you get a bye. You work towards that. And I think that Shrewsbury knows how to do that. He's coached at places, a lot of places that have been winners, and I think he's going to bring that here, hopefully.
And Penn State hockey again, similar type of feeling where can they finally get over the hump now in the postseason where they just were not able to during the course of the regular season.
Yeah, and we're talking about how Cale has his guys peaking at the NCAA all the time. That's usually where, but Guy does one hell of a job getting his guys peaked up for
no doubt
the Big Ten tournament and the national tournament. He really, really does. I mean, there's no national tournament unless you win the Big Ten this year. But I was at that last Penn State Minnesota game, and this is a one game. That first round was 3 games against Ohio State, 12 in the country. They beat them, upset them. Great, they got a lot of momentum. Minnesota's been off for 2 weeks. They're going to come out a little sluggish next week. I don't put it past Penn State with an upset. I really don't. I was at that Penn State Minnesota game on senior night 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
they were up 3-0 in the first quarter. Bang, bang, bang. And Minnesota came back and they showed a lot of toughness and grit coming back and winning that game. But Penn State knows that they can beat that team, and it's a one game, one time. It's like miracle.
Yeah,
you got one time to do it, and they can do it.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of your sentiments there, and I think from Penn State's perspective too, it's a situation where you can just go let it fly. Like there's no pressure, there's no reason for you to be doing anything other than going out and having an absolute blast and doing everything you can to hustle and again just have some fun. Because there's no expectations, and I think that sometimes can be a powerfully good thing for a team when you get to this time of the year where you don't have any kind of pressure on your shoulders or any kind of expectation from the outside, at least looking in. So, yeah, we'll see. I kind of like the spot that they're in that regard as well going into the tournament.
True.
Let's talk quarterback. Yeah, we got to talk about the quarterback situation here in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers, if you have not heard, has agreed to a 4-year deal and will be back with the Green Bay Packers. And Russell Wilson, with a heavy price tag paid to Seattle from the Denver Broncos, is headed to the Broncos. And I'm looking at that price tag, and listen, that is the reason that the Steelers are not going to make that move. Again, if you think you are that close, and I'm going to be really interested to see. And listen, the Broncos, like you're not making that deal unless you have an overall comprehensive game plan, right? So they clearly have some objectives here on the free agent market and or the draft where they feel they can get some of these things plugged up quickly, or you don't make that deal because you're not getting Russell Wilson in with the idea that, okay, maybe in 2 or 3 years we might be able to build into a contender, right? Like you're making that move because you believe you can be a contender next season, and they may very well be, but there are some holes now that need to be filled and filled pretty quickly here. And you're mortgaging with the first round picks, right? Like you're kind of going all in, not quite Rams all in, but you're going pretty much all in here on the next year or two as we need to win the Super Bowl.
Now, I haven't looked at the deal. I wonder what did Von Miller go to the Rams for? Did they get a first round pick? So did they even lose a first round pick, or did they have to go? I don't know. But, the Russell Wilson thing is just insane to me because, I mean, Denver, yes, they think that they're there. They have the receiving core. They have and it's a good place for Russell to play.
Yeah.
I really think it's gonna work out. But he's there for 3 years.
Yeah.
They give up 2 first-round picks, their star tight end, the defensive lineman, for Russell Wilson, who's there for 3 years. Okay, if that's the way Denver wants to go, I mean, Seattle's going to implode, and they're blowing it up and building it back. And that's not uncommon. Every team has to do it. But the one that is just blowing my mind is Russell Wilson saved Aaron Rodgers' ass today by getting traded today because $50 million for one quarterback, one player on an NFL team is just that's just insane to me. Now, I compare the Green Bay Packers to one other team in this league, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They draft well. They create their own talent. They don't do stupid-ass free agency and pay $85 billion and go out and get their guys. They lose. They don't sign guys to 3 long-term deals and stuff like that. So they know what they do. But that's out of the Green Bay Packers. Like that's way out of their playbook right there. And then when we started the show, Devontae Adams got the tag. So they have over 1/3 of their $210 million, $208 million cap is in 2 players. I mean, that's you have 51 other players you have to pay. And
the only thing crazy. I don't know exactly how they can, and I think the contract, right? Roger said the contract hasn't been signed yet. I don't know what all, and the report is that it's a 4-year, $200 million contract. I've never been completely clear on the whole signing bonus and how you can. They clearly are not going to throw $50 million at Aaron Rodgers next season with the salary cap situation. And I don't know all of the ins and outs of how you can work contracts to get around certain things. They did say
it actually lowers his cap hit, by the way, by signing this contract. I did see that.
Yeah. So, again, there are parameters to what you can do, but you can get around, certain things. So I don't know. When this is said and done, I will be very curious and very interested to see how this thing is structured. Because you
ready for his guarantee?
It's having 2 superstars is great, but having 2 superstars and a bunch of practice squad players doesn't quite get you to the Super Bowl there, kids. Again, as you said, that is an organization that, at least historically, has a pretty good record of knowing what it's doing. I suspect there are some things here that are being worked out to make this a workable situation for the upcoming season.
He put
in terms of the salary cap.
That is, think about it.
He's
guaranteed
sure.
$153 million is his guarantee of that contract.
Yeah.
You know how far that goes in Green Bay, Wisconsin? I had this conversation. I think I was with Marco a couple weeks ago. We were laughing. And then when I was the Rutgers game this year, Kyle Brady was talking about like $100 million in San Francisco and $100 million in Jacksonville is not the same. It's not even remotely compatible.
Yeah.
So you say $40 million in New York City for Eli Manning and $40 million in Green Bay for Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers' $40 million is going to go a little bit farther.
Well, not only that, but with his I don't know what his deal is with the McAfee show, but he's obviously, I mean, he's got to be getting a decent paycheck there. And then you look at all of the endorsements. I realize this contract makes him the highest paid in terms of salary in NFL history, but like he will finish right as far and away the NFL player who will have actually brought in the most money in terms of overall income. When you look at
salary,
all of the,
or you mean the endorsements?
I mean combination. I mean the salary is the highest paid. He's got to be up there all time. Right, I mean, I know Peyton Manning. Tom Brady has some. There's some other guys. Mahomes is getting his. Yeah, but I mean, Rodgers is in a ton of different commercials, and with that McAfee show, again, I don't know what he's getting there, but he's getting something. And then, I mean, in Green Bay, he's got to be doing whatever he wants to do and getting whatever he wants to get paid for it. Like, I mean, his overall worth. I mean, I have no idea, but it's got to be.
Yeah.
When this is said and done, it's got to be well over $100 million, right?
Oh yeah,
I mean, well over.
The salary is over $100 million.
Well, yeah, for his career, but I mean, looking at the next between now and the end of his contract, between the endorsements, this deal, any bonuses or whatever else might be in there. I mean,
I'm going home.
It's kind of absurd.
This sucks.
At the end of the day.
I don't know. I'm just not into him. I have really soured on him in the last year or two. I think the best analogy I heard was what Charles Barkley said. Aaron Rodgers is the girl who's like really, really hot, but you got to tell her every day how hot she is. It's like, dude, I got it. You're hot. It's all good, but that's the way it is with him. But I'd compare him to Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like money wise, Tom Brady doesn't need the money. Tom Brady's wife makes $50 million a year. Tom Brady played on the cheap for the Patriots and for the Bucks, and you know, that's why he can have all those little toys. He can have his Gronkowski and have his different running backs and his offensive line that can protect him.
But he also didn't do as many endorsement deals. I mean, because he really was dialed in on what his objective was. Now, on the backside here again, he probably stands to make a good bit of money. And it's not like he's hurting. I mean, this is all relative when we talk about the money that he made. It's like, Tom Brady was
I like dabbling in the autograph world.
Yeah.
Do you know what a Tom Brady costs to get from Tom Brady? It's only one. He only sells NFL properties products from Fanatics, and he charges $1,250 an autograph.
Is that right?
Not $1,250.
Yeah,
that's insane. But he's not saturated the market, so there's not. You see a Tom Brady, and you know it's a real one, and it's justified. It's valuable. You know, whereas I don't really know of many Aaron Rodgers products out there and stuff, but just the difference in the two of them is it. I don't know. I mean, it's weird to me that. Do you think that Brady ever wanted to go back to play for the 49ers? Did you think he had that feeling?
I don't.
You think?
I mean, I think he would have liked it. Yeah. Right.
But they're saying Gronkowski might go to Buffalo just because he's from Buffalo and wants to play for the hometown team, and which is awesome. But do you think he's
awesome for the Bills?
Do you really think he's going to do it? I don't think he does it. I think he sits back and he says, "You had your chance to get me, you didn't do it." So.
Well, he definitely was bitter at the time toward the 49ers. I don't know if that bitterness. I mean,
who was it?
Because he's still
Giovanni Carmozzi.
He still has.
Did you ever see that NFL Films thing on him?
Some part of his.
He's raising alpacas in Northern California now. Well, I guess the NFL first round money was pretty good. Do you think Mooch doesn't get enough crap for that? My God.
Well, they are going to have to, after Jimmy Garoppolo gets sent to the Steelers, they are going to have to figure out until Trey Lance gets.
I told you that last year. I like that fit.
I'm with you.
I'm telling you, I like the Steelers organization. I just don't like the fans. I mean, we're
what?
Okay. Yeah, I hate the
We're
fans.
the best.
That's why
We're
I hate
the
you.
best in the world. Best fans ever.
I did catch myself last week when me and Booch were talking. I said we about the
Only the
Eagles.
Penguins fans are comparably, maybe even better. Big game for the Penguins tonight against the Panthers. I do like, by the way, I know I said it last year and they got bounced in the first round. I really do like this. If this Penguins team stays healthy, gets all of the parts in there, this is a team that can make a serious run at the Cup this season. And I'm ready for it because whether there's a baseball season or not, Pirates aren't getting anywhere near it. And depending on this quarterback situation, I'm not sure about the Steelers getting anywhere near a championship anytime soon. That's the one thing, too, with the Broncos, though. So, like, again, you're kind of putting all your chips in, and I'm all right with it. I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do. But, man, like, even if everything comes together the way that they're hoping, right? Like, you're still – going up against the Bengals and Burrows, you're at the Bills. I mean, like it is, even with everything coming together, it's still going to be really hard. I mean, it's hard no matter what to get to the Super Bowl, but it's really hard right now in the AFC and even in their own division, like we've been talking about. Again, even if everything comes together here, Wilson plays great and they get the rest of this all figured out and the Raiders are right there right now, and the Chargers aren't going anywhere anytime soon. And I think the Chiefs are going to be decent for another year or so anyway.
A little bit.
Like, so, I mean, so just in your, like, I don't think there's a guarantee, even if this works, quote unquote. I mean, I guess you would say, well, it hasn't worked if you're not getting to the playoffs. But, I mean, it could work. Meaning the pieces fit together and they play well, and they don't get to the playoffs because they can't get higher than third in that division. Like that's possible, I think.
I mean, as an Eagles fan, I mean, we play in a very hard division too, so I get where you're coming from.
This is true. It's a meat grinder right now.
It's an absolute meat grinder. You're right.
But that stuff changes quickly too. I mean, for as tough as I think it is right now in that division. Who knows? A couple of, an injury here or there, bad decision here or there, and for whatever reason, things just fall apart. And that's happened before, where you have an organization that you think is primed and ready, and it never comes together the way you're thinking.
I have a confession for you and Chris.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Booch,
I think I'm ready.
I watched a little bit of the Sixers game the other night.
I told Booch.
I watched a little bit of the Sixers game the other night. I still hate it. I absolutely despise it. I can't believe that I'm watching it at the time, but Harden might be all right. He is 65 games are played. He set a record most points for an assist from one player in 5 games.
The problem is I don't know that he and Embiid are going to be able to mesh. Yeah. I don't think the two of them together. That's still the big.
He's the one I'm saying. He is the key. he's the wild horse.
Yeah.
But going back to Harden, is that he hit 5 3-pointers in 27 minutes the first game he played, and Ben Simmons had to hit 5 in his career. I think that the Sixers got the benefit of it. But I'm just mad that, you should see all the people on social media and like the drunk Sixers fans, drunk Philly fans, Broad Street bullies. They're talking like they think that the Sixers should just have a camera on Simmons the whole game when he's not playing against the Sixers, and every intermission that goes to a timeout, they just put it on him, and the fans should just boo him mercilessly, get it out of your system. And they said he would probably cry and go back to the locker room. He wouldn't be able to take it. It's unbelievable. I did see LeBron. He actually asked. He thinks that the NBA is better with no fans in the stands now. LeBron James said that because he doesn't like how fans can attack players now. But he feels he should go back to the bubble with no fans. When he complained about the bubble having no fans, now he wants more. I'm going to deal the rest of my life, as short as it's going to be, having to hear LeBron James's viewpoints on everything that comes up till the day I die. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, who isn't? That's going to take care of things today. I actually won't be here for the next 3 shows. I was just thinking about that.
You're worse than me.
Sorry about that.
It's going to be called a blank and blank
So
show.
I won't be here for a couple of weeks, but we will have another edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show on Thursday.
I want your predictions
we
for
hope
next week.
you tune in. I'll give it to you.
Got to have predictions for next week.
I will give that to you. So until Thursday, be good and be safe.
Booyah!
The leap of faith. Some hesitate, but not you. You don't ask what if. You embrace what's next with open arms. You don't question your decision. You double down. Because you know the thrill is worth it. Introducing the 2022 Telluride Nightfall Edition.
There's always something happening at Quaker Steak Lube. From live music to exciting new flavors, meet your friends and refuel at your local Quaker Steak Lube today. Can't slow down? Then order online. Pick up and get back on the road. Find us at thelube.com.
Hi, Johnny Broom here. If you're in the market for a new Hyundai or a pre-owned car, truck, van, or SUV, nobody beats a Blaze Alexander deal. But don't take my word for it.
Hey, Goon says tell him Johnny sent you.
Hey, tell him Johnny sent ya.
Tell him Johnny sent you.
Wait, tell him Juan or tell him Johnny sent you?
Tell him Johnny sent you.
Here at Bill Pickles Tap Room, we say,
tell him Johnny sent you.
And remember,